Hi everybody, this is Pat in the paper closet. Glad you came back today. We're going to continue working on our Little Things album. Today we're going to be inserting our pages in our cover that we made onto our spine that we made. Now before we get started, I'm just going to show you how these fit on here. Take one of my pages, open it up, make sure the end is not glued down, should be open, and we're going to slide it onto our hinge. Very simple. They fit perfectly because they're the same size as the page. Then we're going to line it up. We're going to line it up at the bottom and the top. Now they may not be even because my hinge I put on a little bit too low, but that's okay. We have 1/4 of an inch at the bottom here. So once it's lined up, you'll have glue on your hinge. You'll press it down really well, and this is how they will turn back and forth. Your hinges move. That's why we kept flipping them back and forth to loosen them up. So I'm going to show you how we get them on there. You see I've cut the ends. And I can pick up this big book without knocking over my camera. You see the ends of these right here? Let me get a piece of paper, something lighter to show you, if it will show up. There is I've cut the end. This is not showing up, is it? Now this one. There it is. A cut from, this is my hinge. It would look like this one, straight, from about 1/2 inch or a little less than that, not quite up to the fold of the paper. Now this one, I can see I missed the corner. You see there's a straight edge there? I don't want that. I'm just going to cut it in a little bit, right to the corner. If you don't cut off the corner, being that it's the same size as your page, you're going to have a hard time getting it on. The cuts on the corners allow you to slide it on, and then it's still going to be totally glued down. So there's no problem with it coming off. So that gives you a perfect fit on your page. Okay, let's get back to what we were doing. Alright, I'm going to put one of these on to show you, and then I'll cut the rest of my corners on my hinges. Take your page, make sure it's opened up, nothing's glued down here. You don't want it glued shut, see it's totally open. Take your glue, we're going to put it along all the sides. Oh, there we go, thought my glue wasn't working. Now we want complete coverage on this. So get all the way to the end of that point. Go down your fold, not quite to the, exactly to the fold because your page won't go all the way down. Almost to the edge of the fold over here. Here's the place of glue. We're going to do both sides of the hinge. Now we're covering the whole hinge with glue, so it's going to hold on there good and tight. Up my little corner there, along the edge, in the center. Go over your end a little bit, make sure it holds. Now flip it over a little bit and get the other side. Same thing. Completely covering your hinge. Almost down to the fold. Not quite. You don't want glue oozing out into our book. Okay, I'm almost there. You can't take too long, your glue's going to dry. Keep gluing down, covering all parts of that hinge. but not thick glue. Just a light bit all over. Okay. Take your page, open it up again, starting either top or bottom, doesn't matter. Slide it onto the hinge. Far down as it'll go. It won't go all the way. Bring it down and make sure it's straight. And now you're going to press it down. It looks pretty even, top and bottom are even. Move it a little bit. Now we're going to wipe up our glue. Any excess glue we have here. Keep pressing it down thoroughly, making sure you get the ends as well. Flip it over, press down this side. And get my hinges out of my way. Just fold them down flat. Keep pressing. We need a couple seconds for our glue to dry. Catch. Hold your ends down. Continue pressing it. Bring it back. Don't worry about your glue, it'll dry clear. Just don't get it into your folds where your hinges are. You don't want any glue in this fold. It'll just stop your page from moving. Okay, that one looks pretty good. Next one, I've also cut those, so I'm going to do that one next. I have another page. Now when we put it on, we're going to line it up with this page, which we made sure we got straight. Take our glue. Get to the ends of our hinge. Cover our hinge. I'm sure you're noticing this is not as hard as you would think. It's very simple. Just take your time. Start with your base page size, how big you want your pages in your book, and you just work everything from there. Your cover, you make your hinge piece first, which is the same size as your pages. You'll know how many hinges you want. Okay, I'm doing the other side of the page, of the hinge. Once you know how many pages you want and what size, you figure out your measurements for everything else. So it's not very difficult. And once you've got one that you like, and you like the size, how your photos fit in, then you can just make these ahead of time. You make it all up to this point where we put in the pages, and then you decide later on what you want in it. And then you can just design it that way. Okay, good on the glue here. Take the page, make sure it's open all the way. Get it onto the hinge. Now you'll line it up with your page underneath. You see this page under here? Oh, I'm off my hinge. Okay, move it up to the bottom. Lining it up with this page underneath. The bottom and the top. It's on the hinge. If I can push it any further, I will. Yes, a little bit. As long as you're lining up, you're good. Okay, now press down on your hinge. All the way to the points. Making sure they're stuck. Don't worry about the glue sticking out. It dries clear, as I said before. have any glue in your fold, see the fold is right here. And you bring it over. Press down this side. Okay, we don't have any more glue coming out. Press the corners, the ends with your fingers. You want them good and glued down. And your hinge is a 1/2 inch, so make sure you're pressing the full 1/2 inch down. And there we have 2 pages in our book. Beginning to look like a book. Like I said, this will dry clear. You see, this one has already dried clear. You don't see the glue. And this is all going to get matted with patterned paper. Okay, now, this one I haven't cut any corners off yet. So I'm going to be cutting these corners. I'm going from about, I might say 3/8 of an inch, pointing my scissor toward the end of the fold where it joins the book and cutting it off. Now what happened? Okay, we're good. Now I'm going to do the other end. This is a little awkward, but turn it around. This is the one I'm cutting. I'm about 3/8 of an inch in to the corner of the fold. Let me pick up my paper here so you can see. This is how I've cut it. You see, from about 3/8 or 1/2 inch in to the fold. You can't quite get all the way to the end. You could, but it's okay if it's like this. Just don't cut your fold. Just up through the fold. So that's our hinge. That's how we cut it. Okay, so that one's ready for its page. Open it up all the way. Test it on our hinge. Where's our hinge? Oh, I have to turn the book around. Sorry. I always work from the back, so I have something to line it up with. Put it on the hinge. Test it out. See, this one is not quite going all the way up. I think I have to trim this hinge a little more. I'm not quite to the fold, and it's keeping it from going down. That looks better. Let's try again. I hope I'm on camera. I know I've had a few comments on one of my videos that I was off camera on showing you one of my albums, and I'm sorry about that. Maybe when I have time, I'll bring that album out. Yeah, that's much better. See, now we can line it up with our pages. Top is good. The bottom is good. So I'm going to put on my glue. Starting on this side. Making sure I get into that end fully. Not all the way down to the fold. My camera's still running. Yes. Okay, don't take too long, the glue will dry over the ends. Fill it in. Okay, on the other side, same thing. Make sure you do both sides. You don't only have one side stuck on your hinge. Speed this up a little. The glue's gonna dry. Get your ends. Okay. Take another page. Open it up. Push it down onto the hinge. lay it down. See, it's even with the bottom with our last page and even at the top. So that's good. I'm going to press it down. And you see here's our fold. You never want to be over your fold or your page is not going to bend. Just right before the fold is where you want it to be. Okay, the other side. A little glue here. Get carried away. So like I was saying, you can make these ahead of time and have the whole base part ready with your pages in, and then later on when you need an album, you just decide what you want to add to it. More flips and flops and pockets. See, our pages are even at the bottom and at the top, which makes it nice and straight and nice and even looking here. Okay, so we have 2 more. Cut them off. I should find a smaller scissor, but yeah, that's good. Turn it around. I'm going to cut both of these while I'm at it, instead of stopping the cut. Okay, I'm going to cut this one about 3/8 of an inch to the fold. Ooh. Okay. Top of this one. Very good. Actually, you could do this before you put the binding in your book. Would be easier. But you find your own process, whatever's easier for you. Okay, now we have our pages on this side. We're adding our next one. I'm going to open it up. Make sure it's open. Check that it fits on our hinge. Okay, the hinge is inside. When I bring it down, it's even with the bottom and even with the top. Very good. Okay, we're going to put our glue on. Not a hard process, just a little time consuming. You can do it. And you'll love the results when you finish. Especially after you put in your photos. It's not an album until it has photos in it. A little bit more on my point over here. Okay. Put on our page. Open it up. Okay. Put it on the hinge. Slide it down. Line it up with the bottom, which we know is straight, and the top, and press it down. Not over your fold. Just check that it turns. Okay, give it a good press, especially at the corners. At 1/2 inch in, which is where your piece is. This is inside your page now. That's what we want glued in thoroughly. Turn it over. Give it a good press. I have a feeling my glue dried. Yes, it did. And I'm just going to stick some glue in here on the hinge. Down. Going that 1/2 inch, pressing that 1/2 inch down. Okay, we have 4 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's looking like a book. Okay, I'm sorry. I had a little glitch on my Wi-Fi, but we're back. I don't know where it left off, so I'm just going to. I think we were just working on this last page on the last hinge. I think putting it on, testing it. It's fitting nicely. Lining up at the bottom and the top. So we're going to put on our glue. I'm going to work quicker this time with the glue. I'm going to try. And on the inside. Whoop. Over the end. Fully out to the outer edge of the hinge. Not all the way to the inner edge. Just squeezing the bottle a little bit so I don't get too much glue out at once. Go over the edge. Okay, now the other side. Same way. Over the edges. Out to the outer edge. Not quite to the inner fold. Over the inner bend. Over the edge here. I got it covered. Okay. Now our page. Make sure it's open all the way. Slide it over the hinge. We know it fits, because we tested it. It's on our hinge. Bring it down a little. Haven't pressed it down yet. Even with the bottom, even at the top. And now I'm pressing down. Wiping up the glue. Any glue that's come out of the side. Just like we said, we don't want it in the fold. Keep pressing this side down. Glue off my fingers. Turn it to the side. Press down. A good half an inch that's inside there. And your ends. And it's glued down. Okay. Good. We have all 5 pages in our book. There's 1. They fold nicely. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Very good. Okay, now I was thinking of what I want to do with this book. What I want to add to it. And I've decided I'm going to make, since we have 5 pages, I'm going to start in the center. Because on here I want to make, let me get my other book. This large set of flip outs that I have. I have to put the pin in my glue, hold on. I'll never get it to work. Okay. Now you see how many flip outs I have on this page? I have a full spread of high school graduations. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that on this side I also have, well, I have 4, but I've used them. So I'm just thinking of adding even 1 more flip, because I have a few more to put in here. And I wanted to show you how I fold this up. Where was that page? There's a page here that I had thought I was done, and then I wanted to add another one. Here it is. This was the pocket page. And then I decided I was going to add this flip. So you see I had already covered this with its mat and all the pockets. And you have to glue the edge of this page over the end of this page. So I added a little border to cover that up, and it's not even noticeable. I didn't do that on this side because I realized what I had to do was put on the flip before I matted it, but that was a last minute decision. This has 3 pockets, but we'll get to that later. Right now I'm going to show you how I make these flips. Okay, now the first one is the actual page, which we have in our book already. The second one needs to be a little bit smaller. Let me show you when I close it. So that it doesn't go quite as far as your original page, or it's going to get caught in your binding. So this page, these flips are about 1/2 inch shorter than the actual page. Let me measure one. This was my first flip. So from one end, rule is backwards. From one end to the other is 6 1/4, whereas my actual page was 6 3/4. So this is 1/2 inch shorter from here to here. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm off camera. From here to here, 6 1/4. This is the first flip that I added onto our original page. So it's 1/2 inch shorter than the original page. So that when we close this up, we have that 1/2 inch spacing here. You don't want too much shoved into the middle of the book, because the pages have to go up together. Okay, so your original page minus 1/2 inch for your flips. I've added 1, 2, 3 flips onto the original page, which is what I'm going to do on both sides of my center. That's going to be my first edition. I'm going to show you how to do a couple of flips. Okay, I need my base paper, which is black for me. It's going to be the same height as our page, which is 8 1/4, and it's going to be 1/2 inch. It's going to be 6 3/4, 6, same thing, 6 1/4 for one of my flips, but I want to add 1/4 inch to attach it to the page. So mine will be 6 1/4 plus 1/4 would be 6 1/2. I'm going to cut that and then I'll show you. So I said 8 1/4 inches high, right? Let's see. Yes, 8 1/4 by 6 1/2. So I'm going to cut the height first. 8 1/4. 8 1/4 is the height. By 6 1/2. And this will be our flip. Score this at 1/2 inch. 1/4 inch, I'm sorry. We're doing 1/4 inch on the flips, so there's not so much bulk. So from the edge, I'm just doing 1/4 inch score line. Fold it on the score line. This book is big. Give it a good burnish. Also fold it back on itself so that it will flip in the book as you're turning the pages. So you want it to be able to fold back on itself. And that will be our flip out. Now, being that we have this pocket here, I'm working on the front of this page. We're going to glue it so that it will go inside of our pocket. I'm going to cut off the ends, the points, at an angle from the fold down on both ends. Check again, see if it fits in there. A little awkward here. Now you see where my fold is? You don't want the fold inside of your page, or it's going to block it from folding. See, mine's too close. Pull it out just a little bit. And there it does fold. And like I said, it's at 1/2 inch from the edge, so it won't go into the spine of the book, into the hinges. Okay, now we're going to put glue on here. Now this is the way I have it folded. With the flap pointing upward, we're going to put glue on the inside of this flap, which is what's going to get glued to this part, the back of this sheet. I'm going to put some glue along the flap, not over the fold, at the end. Get this end, but not over your fold. Okay. Now I'm going to put that inside of here. Again, lining it up with our page. Our flap is not over, the page is not over the fold. Let's test it before it dries. Very good. It's all even. Okay, now I'm going to press this down. By angling the corners, you cut off that extra bulk so that it would fit into the pocket, the back side of the pocket. So we still have our pocket. Our flap is glued to this edge, so we still have our full-size pocket, and we have our first flip. So I'm going to continue making flips on here. I'm going to do one more, I believe. So I'll have the page with 2 flip outs, and then on this side I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to have like a full spread that I could put a very special occasion on. Okay, so I'm going to finish that off camera, and when I come back I'm going to show you how to do a pocket page. Oh. I did it again. Very sorry. I knocked over the camera trying to get my book. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do, in our next video, these pocket pages. Each page has 3 pockets. 1, 2, and this one is, they're full pockets. They can hold 4x6 photos, probably larger. 5x7 might even fit in here. but just don't push them all the way down. You're gonna have a little trouble getting them out. But they are full-size pockets. They can fit 4 by 6s, no problem. Both of these sides. 1, 2, 3 pockets here. 1, 2, 3 pockets here. So that's what we'll be working on in our next video. Okay. So I just want to show you that. And then we may do one more video for this basic building of the album. Then I'll be showing you the waterfall, how to make the waterfall pocket. Not pocket, the waterfall page that holds plenty of photos. Okay, so I hope you liked this video. Glad you came. If you like this video, please hit the like button and also the subscribe button, and then you'll be notified when the next video goes up, which will be adding pockets. Okay, thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.